The law of reflection states that the angle of incident is equal to the angle of reflection. For light, it just means when the light hits a surface such as a mirror, it will reflect off at the same angle that it came into the surface. So in this example here, the same one that you have on your paper, we're going to take point P, that little dot, and we'll call that a light source, maybe it's a little light bulb there, and we want to follow a ray of light that goes from point P all the way down to X right there on that mirror surface, that horizontal line down there. So that right there is what we would refer to as the incident ray. When we measure the angle, we do not measure from the light ray to the surface itself. This would be fine if we only worked with flat surfaces, but we do use curved surfaces as well, and so we don't want to have a separate set of rules for everything. So instead, we measure a reference line, which is known as the normal line. This line right here, you'll notice is dashed because it's not really there, so it's just a reference line, but it is going to have an angle of 90 degrees with the mirror surface. So using your protractor, you want to actually measure 90 degrees from the mirror surface up above the line there, and then simply draw a dashed line like you see on the screen. Once you have the normal line drawn, now we want to actually measure the angle of incidence. In order to do that, you just take the baseline of your protractor, place it along the normal line, put the vertex of your protractor at point X there where the light ray actually hits the mirror, and you'll measure the angle from the normal line over to the incident ray. In the case of your example, you'll measure an angle of incidence of 50 degrees. The symbol we use for angle of incidence is theta I. Once you have that measurement, then the actual angle of reflection should be exactly the same. So on the other side of the normal line, the right side in this case, you'll measure off 50 degrees with your protractor, and then simply draw in the reflected ray. So you can see here we have the full law of reflection. The incident ray comes in to point X. We measure a normal line at that point where the light hits. It's always going to be 90 degrees to the surface of reflection. Measure the angle of incidence. Always measure from the normal line over to the actual light ray in question. We get an angle of incidence of 50 degrees again. Then again, on the right side of the normal line, you measure the angle of reflection. Make it 50 degrees because that's what the law says it has to be. And then simply draw your reflected ray from point X on out. This slide right here simply shows the steps